Hi, ladies. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Kelly, and this is the Mommy Podcast. We are jumping in right away to a discussion on the things that you can no longer do alone with small children. Now, if you don't have small children, this is going to really prepare you for things that you won't even think about until they happen. So maybe this will save you some time and grace in that. Now, I think they're all fun and wonderful and funny in most senses. Now, your life is going to change. Your ability to do the things that you used to do changes. And the most small minutia items, things that you don't really think about, become major things that you can no longer do, kind of the unconscious thing. So I'm getting into that in this episode of just a totally personal one on my experience with 3 small children who have restricted my life. And now I say restricted, but I don't mean that in a bad way. I think a lot of these things are actually really, really good and very positive. Would have helped if I knew they were coming, I guess, because then you can kind of prepare. You're not, standing in the shower one day thinking, wow, so much has changed. I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't do this anymore. Instead, just knowing this is going to change, this is going to happen, I think would have been so much better. So buckle up. That's what we're in for today. Okay, let's go. Okay, well, the very first one, pee or go to the bathroom by yourself. So if you have stage fright, if you're one of those people, and I have to share this story because I used to work in finance and, downtown, I worked downtown Calgary, I worked downtown Toronto in these big, beautiful towers, and everyone was dressed beautiful and they had a fragrance on and a cup of coffee in their hand. But when you went to the bathroom, the ladies' bathroom, you scan your little card, you go in. If there were shoes on the floor, I always found this so funny because women would just sit there in silence. It's like, oh, I can't do anything. I can't pee. I can't make any noise because someone else is in here. So I'm just going to wait it out. And I thought that was the weirdest thing ever. But that actually happens a lot in public washrooms. Maybe you just don't notice it as much, but I noticed it all the time in finance where I'm like, what is going on? I know you work on this floor. I know you work in my office. I can see your shoes. Just go to the bathroom. Anyways, there was a general stage fright thing going on with going to the washroom. Well, after you have children, that's going to change. You can't go to the washroom without them. When they are really, really little, you're going to end up pulling in that bassinet right into the washroom so that you can do your business and watch your little one and make sure nothing happens to them or they don't wake up and they're panicking because they don't see you. Now, that never really changes. When they become a toddler, you need to have the door open so you can see and make sure they're not doing something. Now, open the door. You might not have a choice. They might just open the door for you. That happens all the time in our house. It's like, oh, where's mommy? And you hear these footsteps and you're like, great, awesome. Here comes my audience. Now, that's going to change. So get really comfortable with just managing yourself in front of very bright eyes, wondering what's going on and asking all kinds of questions about you while you're in there. Okay, another one. A good one, a really good one. I mean, there's not a lot of good about going to the bathroom in front of other people, but when they're family, your children, I think it's different. It doesn't really matter. All right, next, you can now no longer examine or pick yourself apart in front of your children. Even when they're little and they're sitting in a baby Bjorn and they're bouncing there watching you, you can't stand in front of the mirror and be like, oh my gosh, look at this skin. Look at my hair loss. What is happening? You can't say anything mean to yourself because you have people watching you. And it's a responsibility as well of showing, hey, this is me. This is confidence. I love myself. Even when things aren't perfect, I love myself. So you have to completely just get rid of that. You can't do it. And you can't say things out loud with a toddler. You can't say, oh my gosh, I have a massive zit coming underneath my skin, because they will repeat it to the next 5 people that you meet. Like, hey, did you know that my mommy has a big zit underneath her skin? She said it really hurts. And you're just sitting there smiling like, yeah, thanks. Great. So you can't say that stuff. You can't pick yourself apart. And good, you shouldn't. So now you have a reason. I was looking for this next one, I was actually looking for an audio file input, and every single one that I found was so annoying. It actually perfectly matched the children screaming at dinner, trying to have a conversation with anyone. that goes out the window. I mean, maybe it gets better when they're 4 and 5, but right now, everyone wants to talk at the same time. If the little one can't reach her water bottle, she is screaming. My husband and I are trying to have a conversation. It doesn't happen. When you're sitting down at a table, you are not having a conversation. You are just going with the flow of like the bing, bang, boom conversation that's happening between your children, or all of the many, many questions that they're asking while you're trying to chew your food. So conversations in peace, in their presence, like, no, that's not going to happen anymore. That is gone. That will maybe come back when they are teens. So just be ready for that. Be ready to carve out some time to have a peaceful conversation with the people that are really important to you. A very good one. So holiday season, we have birthdays like back to back. So my husband and daughter have a birthday in the same month. Myself and my daughter have a birthday in the same month. My other daughter has a birthday in the summer, kind of in between. She breaks us all up. Now, you cannot plan anything. You cannot show them anything without them blurting out or even quietly saying it. Like, I remember we made a big birthday celebration for my husband. I went and sourced this special crab. So I ended up finding that from a fishmonger, ended up getting it into the city. We went and picked it up. They're looking at it, they're like, wow, crab legs. And I'm like, okay, you can't say anything about this. It's a surprise. You can't say it or it'll ruin the surprise. This took many months to figure out. And then, of course, as soon as he comes in the door, they just whisper and they're like, hey, Dad, do you like crab legs? Oh, I can't tell you how gutting it is when you're like, okay, it's cute, that's adorable, but also I can't do anything secret or surprise in your witness because you guys just spill the beans. So you can no longer do that. You have to do that stuff on your own. You have to find time, go out late at night or early in the morning, or everyone will know about it. There are no secrets anymore. Kind of to bang another few out here, you can't leave items on the countertop. Nothing sharp, nothing on a mat, a hot cup of coffee. You can't leave anything dangerous because, wow, those little hands, they just reach up and they grab, and whatever they grab, it's coming down. So prepare yourself for that. If you have a toddler that is walking, we're in now phase 3, daughter 3 walking, and she's just about able to reach stuff on the countertop. And it's amazing how fast you forget that they can do that they can just reach up, and then those sticky little hands, or like those little sticky games that used to like stick to a window, that whatever they grab, it's coming down. So prepare yourself for that. Sleeping in, just say goodbye to that. That is gone. You will not have that back again until they are maybe teenagers. Maybe you have one child that sleeps great. I've said this before. The next one might be an early riser. The next one might just be super independent and walk out of their room whenever they want. You are not sleeping in anymore until likely they are teenagers. So small children sleeping in, it's gone. It's gone, guys. Okay. Also, planning too far in advance. It is so nice to make plans with their friends, with other mothers, to say we are getting together, we are going to go and do this, or meet at this park, or do whatever, have a play date, come over to the house. You can't plan something like a week in advance because kids get sick or maybe they don't sleep well. You just kind of learn. You go a couple days at a time. And even then, you're usually texting the other moms in the morning. It's like, hey, is everyone to go today? And one person drops out because the kid woke up sick or ended up getting sick the night before. I mean, in preschool time, sickness has become a really big thing in our house, and we have had to bail on so many things. So you cannot plan too far in advance. You can't. Okay, so the other thing I had is you can't travel long distances solo. So I think that's different for me because I have 3 little ones and you need extra hands. So if you are on a car or you're in an airplane, you need someone to be able to help with snacks, to be able to help with diapers, to be able to manage the other children or the other child. Even if you are on your own, actually, no, you know what? Even if you are on your own, think of being on an airplane and you have to run to the washroom and you have a baby in your arms. How are you going to do that? Everybody knows how small airplane bathrooms are. How are you taking a child in there? Maybe a wobbly little baby that can't even sit up yet. How are you taking them in there and going to the washroom? You need to hand that baby off to your partner or to your friend, whoever's traveling with you, so that you can manage certain things like that. That stuff comes up and you're like, wow, I really should not have done this by myself. I need to travel as a pack. That becomes a very relevant thing with little kids. with my situation right now, I mean, if we go on a road trip, I need extra hands back there to hand out snacks to make sure if a toy gets dropped, it's not like catastrophe level 10. Someone can just pick it up and hand it back to them, and that's not screeching and all of this stuff while you're on the highway. Oh, another thing, and this is probably going to be different depending on your scenario. Now, my kids are sleep trained. They also have very kind of regular naps. They have very regular naps every day at 1:00. They either go down for quiet time if they're not napping yet, or they have their naps and they nap for like 2 hours. So if they go down at 1:00 in the afternoon and we're having lunch at noon and they nap for 2 hours, that's your entire afternoon. So you're not making afternoon plans and going out and doing anything in the afternoon when you have small children. Nap times will rule your world. And it's a nice thing. I mean, it is a nice thing, but all of your plans end up being in the morning. All of your journeys, your outings will end up being in the morning. So yeah, you're going to become a very efficient morning person. So an obvious one, maybe you haven't thought about it, but you can't swear anymore. And if you are trying to encourage, don't talk with food in your mouth, don't talk while you're chewing, you can't talk and chew at the same time because they will call you out on it. And you can't swear because they pick up everything and they pick it up so fast. Luckily, my kids haven't learned any bad words yet, though I've seen it everywhere where they pick up their little friends and stuff. They pick it up so fast because they're learning language. They're making those patterns. They're imprinting. You have to be so careful about what you say. Now, you can't say anything in their presence that you wouldn't want repeated out loud. Anything. Even if they are in the same room, playing with a toy, not paying attention, you can't say anything. So it really gets you in line. You can't make a comment. You can't say anything that is borderline racist, even if it's funny to your spouse, like anything. I've tried to say examples in this and I cut every single one out because they just sounded so terrible. However, you can't just use your imagination. Someone that maybe you don't like, maybe a neighbor comes by and you're like, oh, I really don't enjoy that person. And then you say something about that. And then your child turns around and they repeat that to their teacher or to their friends or to your their grandparents the next time they talk. And you go, wow, okay, that is just like, it's like a sieve. The information just goes right through into them. And then they screw up the context and they make it sound so much worse. So you can say something that is not even bad and they make you sound like a flaming for saying something because they totally screwed it up and left out like 10 words and the context got all screwed up. But the point is somewhat there. You know what I mean? And really hard to give examples. Like I said, I had them in here. I cut them out. They were not a nice color on me, if that makes sense. Okay. Anyways, you can't pack lightly when you have a little child. I feel like you need to bring everything. So if, picture this, you're going on a trip. You need to make sure you're bringing a bassinet so they can sleep. You have to bring their sleep sack or their pajamas, and many of them because they have blasts and they pee and all that kind of stuff. So one onesie is not going to cut it. That's not going to fly. You need 5 if you're going away for 3 nights and you're away from a washer and a dryer. You need all of their little snacks. You need their bottles. You need your pumps if you're breastfeeding. All of your stuff. You cannot pack lightly anymore. Those days are gone for a while. And now I will say this, I recently experienced this because I was away from my children for a weekend and I had an amazing time celebrating a really good friend of mine and her baby shower. I could not stop thinking about my kids. So even when you are away from them, you think about them all the time. I think I got 5 FaceTimes throughout the time that I was gone, and it wasn't even 24 hours. It's just, you can't stop thinking about them. So that really changes. Even if you're away from them, that is all that's on your mind. Now, I'll end off this episode with congratulating you on your journey of wherever you are. If you are coming into having small children, these are now all of the things, congratulations, that you can no longer do alone. Though now that you know that, now that you have that in your arsenal, you know it's coming, it is so much less of a drag. It's just life. This is life. This is happening. Like la vida loca. I'm good. I know what's coming. So I hope this puts you in that position. If you're another mom in a similar position as me, send me your comments on things that maybe I missed. This was my short list of things that I can no longer do. And I feel like there's more. I can feel it in my fingers. I just couldn't find them in my brain. So wherever you are in the world, thank you for joining me for this episode. I hope it gave you some gunpowder, got you ready for what's coming. I know you're doing really hard things at home, parenting. It's tough. It's a really tough job. Look in the mirror, give yourself a high five, and know that, hey, I'm rooting for you even though I've never met you yet. That's all for today. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi, everyone. Kelly here. If this is your first time listening to the show or you're a longtime listener, I wanted to ask you for something. It really helps me when you rate the show and you leave comments. It helps to expose the show to a larger audience, to more mothers all across the world. And I just love seeing how far the show is actually going and how many places it's reaching. If you could do that for me, it would be so appreciated. That's all I have to say. Thanks. Bye.